Donald Trump has frequently criticized Stephen Colbert, targeting him more often than many other late-night hosts. Over the years, he has called Colbert unfunny, claimed his program was declining, argued that few people watched it, and even suggested CBS showed political bias.
On Sunday, Donald Trump went after fellow Republican, Tennessee Senator and man wistfully reading the dollar menu, Bob Corker. Senator Corker uncorked this about how badly Trump needs his advisors.
I think Secretary Tillerson, Secretary Mattis, and Chief of Staff Kelly are those people that help separate our country from chaos.
Pretty sure chaos is Trump's nickname for his iPhone.
This guy's very, very convincing. So you're over here at the moment, you spend a lot of time UK, US?
Well, I work a lot in the US.
Yeah.
It's very easy to earn good money there. And I don't have to be here in the winter, which I refuse to do.
As objectively as you can, have you noticed that America's different now Trump's in power?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
In what way, though? Like, 'cause we see it obviously here from the news.
It's completely mad.
Around there, do you feel it?
People don't want to admit how mad it is. Eric and I were on tour, and we went on stage the night after the election. In front of 2,000 people, and they're sitting there like this. They cannot believe what's happened, and we said it's our duty, but it's completely mad. I mean, the guy says, I've sent an armada towards North Korea. We find 2 days later that it's actually sailing in the opposite direction. That's what people say, except that the Trump supporters, 38, 39%, they still think he's great. These are the stupidest people you've ever met. There was a woman on supporting him, and somebody said, what do you feel about that time when he was recorded on the bus, that if you're a celebrity, women expect you to grab them or grab their pussy? And she said he would never have said that if he'd known he was being recorded.
Hard times can strike, and that's just what happened to Donald. He was even forced into the ultimate act of degradation, starring in his own reality show. In addition to 2.5 Men, The Apprentice was also a pretty popular show. When Trump bangs a supermodel, he closes his eyes and imagines he's jerking off.
Lisa is a stone cold freak. Lisa fucked Larry King, Don King, Rodney King, and Billie Jean King in the Burger King bathroom. Donald say he wants to run for president and move on into the White House. Why not? It wouldn't be the first time you pushed a black family out of their home.
Donald, you've got a great sense of humor. You've been so happy to embarrass yourself on Saturday Night Live in the casino business. You know, Donald Trump is such a douchebag that if you look up the word douchebag in the dictionary, there's a picture of Spencer Pratt. But if you look close, Spencer Pratt is holding up a picture of Donald Trump.
Ah, the Hammerstein Ballroom. Speaking of ballroom, Mr. Trump, how are those banks holding up? Donald always says money can't buy happiness, but it can buy the best Eastern European whores New York City has to offer.
Anthony Jeselnik is making his first appearance on the roast. This is the first time someone has lost their virginity around Donald Trump without him having to promise them American citizenship. Donald, you are gross. Nobody likes you, but you come back every couple years and nobody knows why. You're like the McRib. Your hair sucks. You look like Justin Bieber caught on fire.
It's exciting, Trump. Are you having a good time?
Good time.
All right, well, tell your face.
In response, Donald Trump tweeted, Senator Bob Corker begged me to endorse him for re-election in Tennessee. I said no, and he dropped out, said he could not win without ... my endorsement. He also wanted to be Secretary of State. I said no thanks. He is largely responsible for the horrendous Iran deal. Touting his shutdown as an unprecedented opportunity to cut more Democratic priorities. No, it's not a shutdown, it's a shut-portunity. When God closes a food inspection program, he opens a listeria outbreak. Trump is threatening to use this excuse, fire a whole bunch more people from the federal government, posting, Republicans must use this opportunity of Democrat forced closure to clear out Deadwood. We have a response from the Deadwood.
Morning. Best time of day to go yourself.
Yeah. That's true.
According to the narrative presented, on January 14, 2026, Stephen Colbert delivered a brief line during his opening monologue that the writer argues left Trump with no effective response. The claim is that Trump then avoided mentioning Colbert publicly for the next 72 hours. The remark came as the federal government entered its third day of a shutdown. Federal employees faced delayed paychecks, national parks were closing, and several government services had been disrupted. Earlier that day, Trump had posted on Truth Social about late-night television ratings. Colbert first outlined the effects of the shutdown, mentioning frozen transportation funding, delayed federal projects, and uncertainty for government workers. He then looked into the camera and said, "A leader more worried about late-night jokes than federal paychecks has already admitted what matters most to him." The commentary argues that the sentence worked because every possible response appeared to carry a political cost. Ignoring it could be interpreted as avoiding the criticism. Responding directly might draw more attention to the comparison. Defending his priorities would invite questions about his public focus during the shutdown. From that perspective, the argument is that remaining silent became the least damaging option. For viewers who remember a time when presidents often responded to comedians with humor or self-deprecation, the moment may stand out differently. Rather than launching a lengthy attack, Colbert simply highlighted what he viewed as a contradiction and allowed the audience to draw its own conclusions. The script claims Trump remained active on Truth Social during those 3 days, commenting on a variety of political topics while not mentioning Colbert. It argues that this differed from his previous public criticism of the late-night host. According to the narrative, that silence was itself significant. The argument isn't that Colbert relied on insults. Instead, the claim is that he focused on priorities, suggesting that public attention appeared to be directed more toward television criticism than the shutdown itself. The commentary argues this framing was difficult to answer without inviting further debate. When the shutdown later ended, Trump declared the outcome a victory and criticized media coverage, but, according to this account, still did not address Colbert directly. The script also notes that Trump later commented on Jimmy Kimmel while continuing not to mention Colbert. The central point presented here is that Colbert did not continue discussing Trump's silence afterward. Instead, the script argues that the original statement stood on its own. According to this interpretation, Trump generally responds effectively to direct attacks because they provide an opportunity for counterattacks and political messaging. Calm observations, however, are portrayed as more difficult to dismiss because they shift attention toward actions rather than rhetoric. The line about late-night jokes and federal paychecks is presented as an example of that approach. Rather than functioning as a direct insult, the commentary describes it as an observation intended to encourage viewers to compare public statements with public actions. Whether readers agree with that conclusion or not, the script argues that the exchange illustrates how carefully framed observations can sometimes generate more discussion than louder political attacks. The comments are open. The broader takeaway offered is that some debates are shaped less by confrontation and more by allowing audiences to evaluate the contrast between words and actions for themselves. According to the narrative, identifying those moments and slowing them down for closer examination is the purpose of the discussions.